Focus and concentration in soccer. Focus and concentration management are a huge part of the game that most people don't even think twice about. If you're a striker, if you mess up, you'll probably get another chance. But for defense, your focus and concentration has to be 100% of the time, or you can get punished for one single mistake with dire consequences. This talk will help you improve your concentration as opposed to just letting it happen by chance. So what is concentration? Concentration can best be defined as being alert yet calm. You know what details you need to pay attention to and what you need to block out to put you in the best position for making fast and correct decisions. Just like our stamina, we need to learn to manage our concentration for the full 90 minutes. Different types of concentration are required for different aspects of the game. Taking a free kick or PK is different than the concentration needed to defend a counterattack. Players need to be able to get in the zone so they can be switched on 100% as soon as the whistle blows. You need to have self-awareness to realize when your concentration and focus is drifting away. You need a game plan to regain focus once it has been lost. You need to have a strategy in place also if you notice your teammate losing focus to get them switched back on. So what do we concentrate on? When coach yells, "switch on" from the sidelines, he means to get your mind focused. But focused on what exactly? An American psychologist named Robert Nidifer developed a framework for examining concentration that can be applied to soccer and will help answer that question. He said there's 3 types of concentration: external broad, external narrow, and internal. You are constantly changing and using these different types of focus, but switching between these effectively is a skill that you can get better at with practice. So these 3 types of concentration: external broad, this type of concentration focuses your mind externally on the big picture. This is used when you look up before sending a long ball down the field. It includes scanning the field to see where your teammates are, where the defenders are, and which way they're headed. This is used when helping calculate where the ball needs to go and how much power to use to get it there. External narrow, this type of concentration blocks out everything that's far away and focuses just on what's right in front of you. This may be the moment you look down at the ball to take a shot, or a keeper coming during a corner, coming out to punch the ball. And then internal is how you feel physically and what types of thoughts and feelings you're having. As a player, you need to be able to know which type of concentration style is required for what type of play is happening and when to switch effectively. At 1 minute, you can be using external broad to read and anticipate the game as it's happening down the field. And then at the next second, you need to use external narrow when on a 1v1 to beat an opponent. Then if it's a corner, you need to switch to internal to calm yourself down and get ready for the corner kick, then switch back to external narrow. Most mistakes happen when a player doesn't change their focus fast enough or doesn't realize they are stuck in a certain mode versus another. You need to know the type of concentration needed for the various aspects of the game and have a game plan to make sure you are using the right type at the right time. So here's a practice exercise. Identify 3 different things to focus on that fit into each category. Then change your attention and hold it on one type of focus for a set period of time before changing it to a different focus. So for example, you can get out on the field and put the ball down in front of you on one side of the field. Start by focusing at the goal on the other side of the field. Then switch your focus to the ball immediately in front of you. Then switch to internal and how you feel. Notice your breath. Notice your heartbeat. Maybe focus on a specific muscle in your body. When switching in between the three, try to block the other two out while holding focus on the third. And just practice switching back and forth between those three. So when you are looking down the field or looking at the ball, you block out how tired your legs feel or how hot you are, or those unrelated thoughts that pop up in your mind. Once you get better at deliberately switching your concentration between external narrow, external broad, and internal, you'll feel more in control of yourself and your surroundings. Stay in the present. One of the biggest challenges in terms of concentration in soccer is to stay focused completely in the present moment. Before a match, our mind tends to wander into the future about how we will perform or if we will win. During the heat of the game, our thoughts and thus concentration can often get drawn to recent past events, like mistakes we just made. Our minds can also wander into the future with thoughts of, if I have one more bad touch, am I going to get subbed out? The more we dwell on these thoughts and the more we are aware of them in our mind, the more concentration is taken away from what is actually happening in the here and now. Even a small decrease in concentration capacity can change performance, so the focus upon these thoughts can be damaging to our performance. How good are you at noticing when your mind starts to wander away from the present moment? Do you have a mental game plan for realizing you've lost focus and bouncing back into the present moment? When we make a mistake, that usually takes away from our mental focus for a small period of time. So not only do we punish ourselves by making the mistake, but we tend to carry that mistake with us for some period of time before we mentally let go of it, if ever. Every time we relive and obsess over that mistake, we're basically compounding the effect it has on us exponentially. To help combat this, have prepared some sort of mental cue or phrase that you say to yourself when you make a mistake. You know the game is being filmed, so maybe just say to yourself, I will watch the film and see the mistake on film later. I will review it and go over it and ponder over it and obsess of it later when I watch the film. But for now, I'm just going to let it go. Or you can shorten that whole thought process to the word film. Whatever word or phrase you use, it needs to be important and meaningful to you. Another phrase you might use is bin it, as in put it in the filing cabinet to go over later. This helps move the mental image of the mistake into somewhere else in the mind where it no longer gets in our way and allows us to be back fully present and in the moment. Every player makes mistakes. It's how you let them or don't let them affect you that matters. You can even use those phrases when a teammate makes a mistake to help them get out of their own head. Know what each other's key words are so you can use them with each other effectively during the game. And don't forget, nutrition has a big impact on your brain and concentration, so always make sure to be eating healthy. Does your concentration seem to break down at similar points in the games? I feel like sometimes it takes an opponent to score a goal for us to really wake up and focus. How can we achieve that same result without having to go down a goal in a match? What if we pretend the scoreboard starts off with us being down 1-0? One way to help our mind focus on the right things at the right times is by using personal concentration cues. These help a player turn up and down concentration like a volume knob. It's impossible for us to be 100% focused for the entire 90 minutes of the game, so we need to know how to manage our focus and turn it up to 10 when we need it the most. When someone is down or injured and the clock is stopped, we can relax our concentration. Then once it restarts, we need to use our cue to refocus. Also, a defender or goalie's level of concentration might need to be at a 6, when our team is in the opponent's box, at a 8 when the other team is at our midfield, and then at a 10 when they're in our final third. So 3 types of personal concentration cues you can use are visual, verbal, and physical. Verbal cues, a verbal cue is a word a player repeats to themselves when needed. It can be any word the player chooses ahead of time that's meaningful to them. Examples include focus, or Rooney, or let's go. You can either say the word out loud or say it to yourself in your head. Visual cues. A visual cue is something the player looks at that reminds him to focus. This may be a piece of tape around one's wrist, or focusing on the logo on the ball before taking a free kick. Then a physical cue is something like slapping your own face, or slapping your thighs, or clapping your hands, or making a fist with your hands. This physical cue just lets your body and mind know it's time to be 100% focused. These cues are great to use when you either notice you're starting to lose focus, or when you're coming up on a situation soon that will require your focus level to go from a 8 to a 10. You can choose either one single cue or a combination of all 3, whatever works best for you. Practice using them in training sessions. One huge source of distraction that can throw off our focus is getting into arguments with refs or opponents. Let your coach yell at the ref. Save your mental energy and focus for the game. You already know that the ref is going to mess up and be unfair. Don't let it throw you off your mental game. Be smart about it. Sometimes calling for a yellow card does indeed work, but don't let it distract you from the end game, getting that W. It's more important to be focused at getting the ball back in possession and making sure the opponent doesn't play quickly off of a foul than it is to argue with the ref. So focus your energy on things you have more control over and things that have the team in mind. Free kicks. Having a set routine when taking a free kick that you do every single time can help put you in control when everything around you is chaos. You can see Cristiano Ronaldo has the exact same routine on every free kick. He sets the ball down, takes a few steps back, stands with his legs apart, eyes focused, deep breath, shrugs his shoulders, lingers just a little to make the keeper a little anxious, then executes. It doesn't matter what exactly your routine is, as long as you do the same thing every time. When you are on the training grounds, you should pretend you're in the middle of a match. That way, when you perform in a live game, it's second nature. You stay calm and relaxed. So the 3 phases to a good setup of a free kick are physical, mental, and execution. The physical setup: place the ball down with the logo facing you. Place the ball the exact same way for every free kick you take. Make sure the writing is in the same place that you can read it. Take 3 steps back and 1 to the side. Knock the dirt off your cleats. Take a deep breath. And the mental: focus your eyes on the logo and the exact spot you want to hit it. Visualize the trajectory of the ball into the back of the net. Visualize yourself taking the strike and hitting it perfectly. Focus your eyes back on the logo on the ball. Take another deep breath. Say your cue word to yourself, like laser or dingue. And the execution: take the shot. Knee over the ball. Drive the ball along the visualized path. Put your foot through the logo. Land on your shooting foot. Balance and power. Practice this routine many times a day. Have someone blow a whistle, or imagine someone blowing a whistle to recreate a real-life game scenario. So in summary, practice switching between external narrow, external broad, and internal. Have verbal, physical, and visual cues to get your concentration back when you lose focus. Stay in the present moment. Have a dead ball routine in place that you practice religiously. Thank you.